I am John Hughes. I moved on from BP in early 2015 after the pleasure of working with the company for many years, always focused on things to do with external affairs, government affairs, social impact, strategy and non-technical risk. I now have a portfolio career with about half my time as a non-executive director and the other half consulting with companies on things to do with governance, risk and strategy.
My name is Ray Dempsey, and I'm the Chief Diversity Officer for BP in the Americas. I've had the great opportunity to serve as a non-executive director on the boards of many national nonprofit organizations in the United States. The one that comes most to mind, though, is a group called the National Action Council for Minorities in Engineering, or NACME. I was selected to the role as a director on the NACME board as a function, really, of my own demonstrated commitment to the STEM education landscape: science, technology, engineering, and math.
Hello, my name is Deborah Jennings Johnson, and I am part of our diversity and inclusion function, and I am responsible for supplier diversity for BP. I am part of a Women's Business Development Center board. I currently chair that board. So in my role, I'm working with governance to make sure we're able to look at the bylaws and understand the function of our board and understand the needs of our board. I also work with the president on funding and particularly on strategy to make sure the organization continues to be viable and do relevant programming, which became very important during our current environment.
My name is Nacho Jimenez, and I am the Managing Director for BP Ventures in Europe. I sit as a non-executive director in some of BP Ventures portfolio companies, like Finite Carbon, Fotec, or Gridage. My accountabilities as non-executive director are to provide independent judgment in areas like strategy, performance, and the correct use of resources, financial and human, all representing the interest of the shareholders in the company. I get involved in helping the company set direction, access finance, hire key executive members, and making sure the company is run in a safe way and with the appropriate standards of conduct.
If you're thinking about being a non-executive director, there are a few things you should consider to help position yourself to be a strong candidate. I think it's really important to recognize that your network matters a lot. You've got to make it known to people that you have an interest in serving as a non-executive director, and that's true whether it's for a corporation or for a nonprofit organization. You have to be prepared to bring value. Sometimes that's in the form of your own insights drawn from your experience. Sometimes it's in the way that you ask questions or challenge, seeking to find ways to best drive the success for the organization.
Like many things with life, getting your first NED role is the hardest. So be willing to build slowly and take roles that allow you to build your resume, your CV, to show you can do boards. For instance, before I left BP, I was on an advisory group at the London School of Economics and on a government-supported board to do with China. NED roles are just that, non-exec. The biggest reported problem is that NEDs act as though we are managing. This is to be strongly avoided. We're involved in governance and assurance, not management.
Work as a non-executive director is one of the most complex tasks of my role, because it requires a very broad set of skills. Strategy to support the company, get market traction. Human skills to resolve conflicts, maybe within the board or with management. Financial to help the company deploy resources and access new funding if needed. Having said that, some companies get non-executive directors on the board to support with just a particular skill the board may require at that time, like finance or knowledge of a particular industry. Non-executive director is a high-stakes role. It can be very rewarding to see the companies build confidence and grow. But it also can be very frustrating when things don't go well, when the company's future may be at risk, and there's little that can be done to avoid that fate. It requires me to use 100% of my abilities. It's very challenging, as well as developing new ones, as the companies face unique issues, and that's why I really enjoy it.
I don't think there's any barrier to being part of a board. I think you need to be passionate about what that board or what that company provides. I think you need to be passionate if there is a mission of the board in terms of the community. And I think you need to be willing to not only govern on the board, but also be a working board that becomes part of any board at a given time based on projects.
Your skills will be valued, but be clear what they are. Perhaps you'll have 3 types. Firstly, personal impact, style, charisma, communications. Secondly, BP specific, so you might know a lot about oil and gas. Many mid-sized extractive companies could appreciate your skills on their boards. Then functional skills. They are very transferable and likely to be respected on a wider range of boards. These boards will be interested in your skills like IT, managing complex estates, HR, transformation, audit, strategy, risk, legal, regional expertise on a geographic region, project management, process engineering, or science.
If you want to find a non-executive director role, you need to get comfortable with how small businesses operate and what elements in a startup can help them succeed. You also need to be able to understand business areas like finance and legal. Your experience and career achievements will be important. However, non-executive directors also have to demonstrate their independent character, their ability to take hard decisions, ask tough questions, and stand by the decisions. Non-executive director roles come with big potential personal liabilities too, and you have to exercise your director duties with care, diligence, and skill. You should not take a non-executive director role with a clear understanding of what this could be.
It's easy for us sometimes at BP to take for granted the things that we've learned in our time in this company. The things we learn about project management, about working with other teams, about leveraging different expertise and experiences. All those things matter so much to a nonprofit organization. And I was sometimes surprised at just how important and valuable it was that I could be there, sometimes just to ask questions, to challenge the strategy of the organization, sometimes to think about the way that we engage with all the relevant stakeholders, sometimes to just push really hard on the financial frame that was the underpinning of the success. And of course, ultimately, one of the important values that I bring was my own network in service of supporting the fundraising objectives of the organization, an important priority for any nonprofit organization.
I do think that BP employees bring a lot to boards because of the way we work, because of the values and the culture that we come from.
Be clear whether you want a job or whether you're actually going to be happy with a NED role that are normally 2 to perhaps 4 days a month max. Many people mix NED roles with consulting or have 3 or 4 NED roles at one time. Do you want to work full-time, or are you happy to spend time on many things at the same time?
I have enjoyed being part of boards. I think that it's something that you do, whether it's paid or unpaid. It's very gratifying, particularly if it is in an area that you, again, are passionate about and wanting to see change, because you can implement the change that you want to see through your board activity.
Serving as a non-executive director can be really rewarding. I think one of the most important factors to consider, though, is whether the organization is one that has a purpose and a mission that's something that you really care deeply about. My passion for the work and the mission of NACME enabled me to contribute in valuable ways and ultimately to lead the organization through a time of tremendous change. I'm grateful for the experience that I had, and if you're interested in being a non-executive director, I'd encourage you to think hard about how you can bring your experience and your skills to bear in support of the purpose and cause of an organization that you care a lot about.
Be clear what you are selling. What are you good at? And create a narrative. Try saying it out loud and on Friends. Use it, improve it. Having a formal interview could be a new experience for you. So, enjoy it. There's a big, wide world out there, and your skills will be respected. But take your time and be clear what you want and what you bring. Good luck.